week I had a chance to talk to John Catalano from Diamond Audio, and we talked about their brand new MSHD14 source unit, and we had tons of questions. So, guys, can we get a deeper dive? So, guess what? We gave John a call, and he has got this set up to you for you today, guys. We're going to deep dive into some of the unique features that the Diamond Audio MSHD14 has to offer. John, thanks for joining us again. Now, some of the comments that we had in our video had a lot to do with something you talked about when it came to the line driver performance and the output that this device is able to produce to optimize that sound quality. I understand that this time around, not only we're going to talk about it, you're going to show us exactly what this unit is capable of.
Thanks, Ben. I'm glad to be back and ready to show some of the extra features that we've added to this media player. One of those being the Bluetooth line driver, which nobody has done yet. So some of the things that we have that are a drawback is all the phones are different these days, and mostly because the companies are trying not to be liable for lawsuits from hearing damage. So they're limiting the output on the Bluetooth. So even though our unit is capable of 5 volts, depending on the phone, you might not be able to achieve that. So what we've had to do is get creative, and we can't fix everybody's phone, but we can fix it in our radio. So we've added a line driver on Bluetooth. So a default setting at full volume would be whatever your phone would normally put out. And the case of the phone that I'm testing with today, it's 2.8 volts. And I have it set up on a meter so I could show you. So what I have here is I have oscilloscope and a meter hooked up, just so you can read it either, because the oscilloscope's very small on the voltage readout. And I have it at full volume on the phone. We're streaming Bluetooth, and I'm getting 2.8 volts. So we're going to go into the menu, and we're going to go into our audio settings here, and it allows us to change the output level, especially for Bluetooth and media, past what the phone would do normally. So because we have that line driver, so we can go ahead and ramp these up until we hit 5 volts, which is right there. And now if you can see on the oscilloscope, we have no clipping, but we have 5 volts of output with the radio at full volume.
I'm sure I'm not alone, John, when I say I'm very thankful that you've taken the time to set that all up to demonstrate exactly what we're talking about, because this makes the distinction. This is not a gain that you're going to get distortion. I'm very happy that you mentioned that. This is a legit line driver built into the unit. And I want to give you an opportunity to kind of explain why that's so important, especially when it comes to motorcycle audio.
Well, as you know, or maybe not know, that on a motorcycle, pretty much it's either full volume or no volume. We like to call it an on and off switch. So we want to make sure that even at full volume on the radio, there is no distortion. We want to give you the best possible platform to start with the best possible sound quality to start with, and allow you to go to full volume and feel safe while doing it.
Okay, John, let's stick with this topic of performance when it comes to the audio side of things. We've established a line driver. It's going to get you that 5 volt output, which, might I say, might be the only radio in this category that even does that. So, of course, we're talking about the MSHD14. DSP. Now, DSP is not new for motorcycle. We've spent a lot of time on CMA talking about it, but I wanted to go through the DSP capability directly with this device without even having to add an external DSP. So walk us through the DSP menu and how it all works.
All right, so as we were saying, we have a full DSP, and because it's 10 channels, uh, we have actually 6 full EQs on here. So what we have is what we call a compensation EQ. So this is for channels 1 and 2, which are front and rear, and then the additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 RCA outputs. And what we can do with these is if we have an anomaly, let's say we're using the deck power to run our tweeters, and they're really hot at like 6K or 4K or whatever, we can back those off a little bit so they don't, rip our head off, and we can adjust that there. And then we can do that if we're doing the same thing. If we have tweeters on the rear channels too, maybe they're in the back, we can back those off a little bit. And then let's say we're running mid ranges or mid basses on channels 1 and 2 on the RCAs on an amplifier, and maybe they've got a little bit of a peak at 400 or what have you. You can back that off there. So this is what we call compensation EQ. So you can go through there and you can fix any anomalies you may have with the system. Then, obviously, you'd probably have your crossovers and stuff set here. Again, for each pair of channels, you have your crossovers, high pass, low pass, band pass. You can adjust your slope. And you get a graphic representation of what's going on there. And then fader, you can link the fader if you like. We don't do that, but you can if you need to. And then this is the final EQ. So this number 6 of the of the set. And what here is, this is like your daily EQ. So you're gonna, you have your presets, like if you're just gonna switch it as you're listening to whatever kind of music you might be listening to, or you can set your own user presets here. And it's really easy to adjust. Like you can literally just scroll your finger along. Maybe if I do it from the other side, it's easier to see. And you can adjust your EQ, and then you can press and hold and save that to your settings. And then finally, you get the time delay. So the speaker placement on a bike is just as important as it is in a car. We're not really looking for staging, but we're looking to equalize out any cancellations we might have. So if we have different distances between the rider and where the speaker placement is, we can adjust that here. So let's say you got front fairing speakers and a lid kit. Well, the average rider, let's say like me, 5'9", it's about 6 inches of distance that's different between the front speakers and the rear speakers. And what happens is there's a cancellation of mid bass. So what you could do is you can go in there and you would add 6 inches of delay to those drivers. You can put it on inches and you'd add 6 inches, and then all the audio would reach the driver at the same time. So you get that full impact of the music and nothing's wasted. Because again, on the bike, we don't want to waste anything.
And last but not least, we had a lot of comments coming in with regards to the built-in, yes, built-in iDataLink Maestro integration tool that comes with the MSHD14. John, if you wouldn't mind, last time we didn't really get a chance to see it, but can you show us some of the advantages of the connectivity and the type of displays that come up in the menu side of things when you connect via the iDataLink Maestro?
I'll be glad to. Thanks for bringing that up. We are the first company to have the Maestro piece integrated into the radio itself. So we're pretty excited about that, and it allows us a lot of different features. So one of those being you can do motorcycle info. So if this was hooked up to a bike, you would be able to see if you had your headlights on, your high beams on. If you had the tire pressure sensors that would show up here, it would tell you what the tire pressure is. Check engine lights, things like of that nature would all be in this screen. And then also gauges. So again, this isn't hooked up to a bike, so it's not going to show any of the data, but you could have your miles per hour here, your tire pressure, or I'm sorry, your oil pressure, your voltage. You could have your 0 to 60 time. You could have your 60 to 0 time. These are all user selectable, and you can go through the different menus and add all of that through the interface. You would just press and hold, and then it would give you an option of all the different things that you could add to that screen, and then you just click it, and then that becomes your new gauge. But again, unfortunately, because it's not on a bike for this demonstration, it's not going to show you that. And then it also gives you the aux controls. We have 6 outputs that are programmable through the Maestro that you can do, electric kickstand, lighting, air ride, pretty much anything that you can trigger with voltage, you can activate through that aux control. All right, Ben. Well, thanks for the opportunity to go into some of the deeper features that we've included in this radio. It's really a lot to take in. If you need more information, I implore everyone to just visit the website, diamondaudio.com, or talk to us live on any of the social media sites. You got Facebook and Instagram and things like that.